Welcome to Plot Twist, your place for quick summaries of movies with jaw-dropping twists. Let's dive in. The movie begins with a flashback about a mad scientist who decides to use an ant to strengthen his leg muscles after suffering a severe injury that made walking difficult. During the experiment, he experiences intense pain, loses control of the ant, and it escapes from the laboratory. Later, we meet a 12-year-old boy named Bill. We learn that Bill has no friends and dreams of becoming the most popular kid in school. He also has a crush on his classmate Amanda, but he is convinced she would never notice him because she is very beautiful and arrogant, and all the boys in school dream of being with her. During the first class, the teacher assigns the students to write an essay about an influential figure in society to be submitted the following week. Amanda's sister objects, saying no one has ever influenced her, so the teacher suggests she write about her father, who is the CEO of Z-Farm, a very successful man. The teacher then asks everyone to pair up with a classmate to help each other write the essay faster. Amanda looks back and points to the girl she chooses as her partner. Bill mistakenly thinks she chose him and excitedly gets up, only to realize she picked someone else. Embarrassed, he sits back down quickly before Amanda notices. Later, Bill leaves the classroom and sees two classmates bullying a weaker boy. He hides on the roof and starts throwing apples at them without being seen. Eventually, they spot him and chase him outside the school. But Bill manages to escape and hides behind some trees until they leave. While hiding, an ant crawls into his clothes without him noticing. The ant bites him, causing intense pain and dizziness. He loses his balance and falls to the ground. Before passing out, he sees a strange-looking man approaching him. Hours later, Bill wakes up and realizes it's very late. He rushes home, where his mother scolds him for being late. He apologizes, saying he lost track of time while playing with friends. He goes to his room to sleep, but has strange nightmares about ants. He wakes up startled and feels extremely hungry, eating all the sweets in the house voraciously. The next morning, he wakes up to find his room littered with wrappers and doesn't remember eating so much. At breakfast, his family is watching the news about the disappearance of a large number of genetically modified ants. Bill picks up a milk bottle to pour himself a drink, but it sticks to his hand and he can't remove it. He asks his father for help. Later, he grabs an orange juice glass, but it suddenly breaks due to his newfound strength. At school, he meets a genius boy named William, and they talk about superheroes. Afterward, Bill accidentally breaks a door handle due to his strength. In gym class, the teacher challenges the students to a sparring match and picks Bill first. Initially, the teacher defeats him, but Bill gets up and manages to dodge all the teacher's moves, eventually throwing him far away. The students are shocked, and even Bill is surprised by his strength. He quickly leaves the class and runs away. After school, William asks Bill how he got his powers. Nervous, Bill denies having any superpowers. At that moment, he sees Dr. Jim, the strange man he saw before passing out. Bill says goodbye to his friend and goes home, pondering William's question. He decides to use his powers to impress Amanda. The next day, during the break, Bill confesses to William that he gained his powers after being bitten by an ant. William is amazed and decides to help him become a real superhero. They conduct research on ants and learn that ants have the strongest jaws in the animal kingdom relative to their size. William tests Bill's abilities by asking him to bite into a book, and Bill easily tears through it as if it were a sandwich. They also test his sense of smell by blindfolding him and asking him to identify different foods from a distance. Bill discovers he has an incredibly strong sense of smell. William then decides to create a special suit and mask for Bill to hide his identity. Later, Bill discovers that his body produces an acidic substance made of formic acid, which can destroy anything in its path. This becomes one of his defensive abilities, is similar to ants. His energy depletes quickly, so his friend rushes to get him lots of sweets and insists he eats constantly because he loses energy rapidly. Weeks pass, and we see all the news outlets talking about Antboy, praising him greatly because in such a short time, he managed to prevent many crimes. During this period, Bill gains significant popularity, especially among girls who are all eager to uncover his true identity. Naturally, Bill feels very happy because for the first time in his life, he doesn't feel like an outcast. He makes a promise to himself to continue doing good so people will love him even more. One day, we see Amanda in her room and suddenly she notices a strange-looking man reflected in the mirror. Of course, she screams in fear, and her sister hears the noise and comes to check what happened, but she finds that Amanda has disappeared with her necklace lying on the ground. The next day at school, we see all the students gathered in the courtyard. The school wall is about to collapse, so Bill quickly puts on his superhero costume, climbs the wall, and reaches the boy. However, he discovers that it was just a trap, and the boy is actually a doll. We find out that Ida orchestrated this to get Antboy's attention. She asks for his help to save her sister, and then shows him a video she found on her father's phone. In the video, we see Amanda locked in a cell, with the kidnapper demanding a $20 million ransom to release her. He also demands that Amanda's father resign from his position at the company. Of course, Bill becomes very worried about Amanda and decides to help her. To do so, he takes Ida to the secret headquarters located in William's house, as he will surely need her help. However, he refuses to reveal his true identity to her. The three of them then brainstorm a plan together. Ida shows them her sister's necklace, which gives Bill an idea. He decides to use his ability to smell and track Amanda's scent through her necklace. Indeed, he succeeds and eventually reaches the criminal's house, only to be shocked to find out that it's Jim. Bill then reaches reaches the basement but finds it locked. He secretes formic acid from his body, destroying the lock completely. He enters the basement, which is filled with insects and plants, creating a disgusting scene. After a few minutes, Bill manages to find Amanda, but just as he is about to free her, Jim appears and stops him. Bill tries to reason with Jim, telling him that Amanda is just a child and doesn't deserve this. Jim reveals that he kidnapped her to punish her father for ruining his life. From his words, we learn that Jim used to be a biochemist at Exoparm Company. He managed to invent a serum composed of rare compounds found in ants, which had the ability to cure many diseases. Jim decided to test the serum on his mother, who was suffering from cancer, and the experiment was successful. The cancerous tumors began to shrink significantly. However, Amanda's father suddenly decided to cut funding for Jim's research to save the company money, and Jim was subsequently fired. Unfortunately, Jim's mother passed away. As the cancer spread throughout her body, after some time, Jim decided to continue his experiments and managed to create a new serum using fleas. He injected it into his legs to treat his injury, and surprisingly, the serum not only healed his injury, but also made his legs 100 times stronger than those of a normal person. At that moment, Bill realizes that the ant that bit him was part of Jim's experiments. Suddenly, they hear the sound of police cars, and Jim quickly escapes before being caught. We find out that Ida and William overheard everything through Bill's listening device and were deeply shocked. Shortly after, the police enter the criminal's house and free Amanda. At the same time, Bill feels disappointed because he didn't fully succeed in his mission as he let the criminal escape. Bill decides to stop being a superhero, but William objects, telling him that people need him to save them from danger. He also reminds him that Jim is still at large and must be stopped from harming others. Bill admits that he isn't strong enough to save people and hands over his suit, declaring that he will never wear it again. The next day at school, we see Amanda talking to her friend about Antboy, and Bill remembers Jim's words when he said Amanda would never love him because of his weak personality. Jim also told him that Amanda admires Antboy's persona, but would distance herself from him if she knew who was behind the mask. Days pass, and Bill falls into a state of depression because he feels like his old self again. One day while in class, an earthquake suddenly shakes the place, and they learn that an unknown person has broken into the school. All the students quickly flee, except for William, who goes to Bill and tells him that Jim has broken into the school and must be stopped. However, Bill decides to run away and leaves the task to the police. William, determined to act himself, goes to the storage room, grabs insecticides, puts on the Antboy mask, and starts searching for Jim. After a while, Jim appears before him and disappears, thinking he saw Antboy. Meanwhile, Bill stands in the schoolyard when a little girl tells her classmates that Antboy saved her. At that moment, Bill realizes that his friend wore the mask and decided to put himself in danger to catch the criminal. Bill quickly goes to save his friend and by chance finds a costume similar to his own. He puts it on and goes to confront Jim. The problem is that Bill's strength begins to diminish because he hasn't eaten sweets all day. He quickly runs until he finds a soda can, drinks it, and regains his strength. At that moment, Jim disappears with William and throws Bill far away. However, Bill doesn't give up and continues to chase them. Along the way, he finds his friend's glasses on the ground, smells them, and determines his friend's location. Soon, he reaches William and finds him tied to a tree. Suddenly, Jim appears and threatens to hurt him. At that moment, William manages to free himself and escapes. He then communicates with Bill through the earpiece, and they devise a plan to defeat Jim. William hides behind a tree, observing Jim as he drinks blood to regain his energy. Suddenly, William approaches and destroys the blood container, causing it to spill. A fight ensues between Jim and Bill manages to knock Jim to the ground easily. When Jim tries to get up again, he fails. On the same day, Bill goes to Amanda's house disguised as the superhero. Amanda thanks him for his help and tries to get closer to him, but he tells her that he came to see Ida. Amanda, being arrogant, doesn't take the rejection well, yells at him, and leaves. Bill then goes to thank Ida for her help. At that moment, Ada tells him that she discovered his identity from the first day and that she knows that he is Bill. Of course, Bill is very happy because even though she knows his real identity, she loves him. The next day, William goes to tell Phil that he decided to make a special suit for himself and asks him to cooperate with him so that they can fight criminals together. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to get more new videos.